Hello, the name is Daman Dev Sood. Welcome to my weekly show, My Top Tips. Every Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. IST. These days, I'm in Abu Dhabi and having an early meeting today. I'm doing this show early. The discussions today are going to be about responsible sourcing. On 30th and 31st of October this year, in London, I'm speaking at the BCI World Hybrid Conference. My topic there is third-party risk management, vendor risk management. At the same time, I will be launching my 10th book globally from that platform on 30th of October in London from BCI World Hybrid Conference. The book is My Experiments with Third-Party Risk Management. While I'm giving finishing touches to this book now, the deeper I go into this topic, the more fascinated I am by the subject. There's so much to be done. There is so much to be learned. Today's discussions are from the last chapter of the book, which I have finished, but there are some other chapters in between which are still to be done. And the last chapter is about responsible sourcing. So today I thought I'll touch upon a portion of that in these discussions today. Bear with me, please, as we continue kind of book reading session today. So responsible sourcing refers to the procurement of goods and services in a manner that considers ethical, environmental, and social factors. The context of third-party risk management in the context of TPRM, responsible sourcing is crucial for ensuring that an organization's supply chain is resilient, ethical, and compliant with various standards and regulations. It goes beyond traditional procurement practices by incorporating sustainability and responsibility into the decision-making process, thereby reducing risks associated with third-party relationships. Let's touch upon the benefits of responsible sourcing, which also becomes the business case for doing sourcing responsibly. This offers number of benefits like risk mitigation. By selecting suppliers who adhere to ethical standards, organizations can reduce risks related to fraud, corruption, and non-compliance. Benefit number 2, reputation management. Companies that prioritize responsible sourcing enhance their brand reputation and build trust with stakeholders. And number 3 is about compliance. Adhering to responsible sourcing practices helps organizations comply with regulations and avoid legal penalties. So how does this impact our supply chain? A resilient supply chain is one that can adapt to disruptions and continue operations smoothly. Responsible sourcing contributes to supply chain resilience by ensuring suppliers follow sustainable practices, which reduces the risk of supply chain disruptions due to environmental or social issues, and promoting transparency and traceability, allowing organizations to quickly identify and address potential risks. Moving on to key principles of responsible sourcing. And number 1, there is ethical sourcing. Ethical sourcing involves producing goods and services in a manner that respects human rights, and labor standards. Key elements include ensuring fair wages and safe working conditions for workers, prohibiting child labor and forced labor, promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, in the supply chain. Here I draw your attention to my detailed blog on this topic available from my website. Second key element in responsible sourcing, in ethical sourcing, is environmental sustainability. Environmental sustainability focuses on reducing the ecological footprint of the supply chain. This includes sourcing materials from sustainable sources, minimizing waste and emissions during production and transportation, encouraging suppliers to adopt eco-friendly practices, following the principles of total cost of ownership and life cycle assessment. A word of caution is to avoid sustainability washing. At this point, I draw your attention to my two-part blog on sustainability companies or sustainability organizations, again available freely from my website. The third principle is social responsibility. Social responsibility entails contributing to the well-being of communities and society at large. This can be achieved by supporting local communities through fair trade practices, investing in social programs that benefit supplier communities, and ensuring that supplier practices align with the organization's values and social commitments. The next principle is anti-money laundering, anti-bribery, and anti-corruption. Incorporating anti-money laundering, anti-bribery, and anti-corruption measures into responsible sourcing ensures that screening for involvement in money laundering activities, monitoring transactions to detect and prevent money laundering, enforcing anti-bribery policies to prevent unethical practices, and adherence to anti-corruption laws and regulations, ensuring fair business practices. I will strongly recommend these to be done at both ends, the consumers, the customers, as well as the third parties. Whatever we expect our third parties to do, we should be doing that first ourselves. Within responsible sourcing that I'm talking today about, the next topic is about insider risk management. Now we are talking of third parties, but third parties are insiders, and that's why then insider risk management, business continuity management, third party risk management, enterprise risk management, all these go hand in hand. Insider risk management involves identifying and mitigating risks posed by individuals within the organization or its supply chain who may have access to sensitive information or critical systems. This is why it becomes important at third party also. This includes implementing robust access controls and monitoring systems to detect unusual activities, conducting background checks on employees, contractors, and suppliers to ensure they meet ethical and security standards, and establishing clear policies and procedures for reporting and addressing insider threats. At this point, the whistleblower policy process also comes into picture. Then once again, I draw my attention to a detailed blog on my website on insider risk management. Next topic is about implementing responsible sourcing. We have understood what, why, how comes into picture now. So we need to establish standards and policies. To implement responsible sourcing, organizations should establish clear standards and policies. These should outline ethical, environment, and social criteria for supplier selection, requirements for supplier conduct and performance, and procedures for monitoring and enforcing compliance. Supplier evaluation and selection is important in this implementation process. Evaluating and selecting suppliers based on responsible sourcing criteria involves A. Conducting thorough due diligence to assess potential suppliers' adherence to standards, including anti-money laundering, anti-bribery, anti-corruption, and insider risk management policies. B. Using tools such as supplier scorecards and audits to evaluate performance. And C. Selecting suppliers who demonstrate a commitment to responsible practices. In the process, next step comes to continuous monitoring and improvement. Responsible sourcing is an ongoing process that requires continuous monitoring and improvement. So, organizations should, number one, regularly audit suppliers to ensure compliance with responsible sourcing standards. Number two, provide training and support to help suppliers improve their practices. And number three, encourage feedback and collaboration to identify areas of improvement. But there are challenges also in implementing this responsible sourcing practice and process. I'm giving in the book detailed examples also, which number one, I'm just saying Apple Inc.'s ethical sourcing program. In the book, I have written a little more. And I also say that it should be read with a pinch of salt because Apple at same time has also been accused of on purpose reducing life of its products programmatically, which is not then ethical. Second example is Unilever's environmental initiatives. Third is about Starbucks' social responsibility efforts, including their SAFE program. Fourth example in the book I have given is HSBC's anti-money laundering and anti-corruption measures, and I have written a little more in the book. And then say, at the same time, we should keep in mind that HSBC has been fined for failing in its anti-money laundering practices, which then establishes the importance of the role and powers of the regulators. Fifth example in the book is about Google's insider risk management program. In the chapter in the book, I also touch upon future trends in responsible sourcing. While concluding today's discussion, my top tips, I would like to say that responsible sourcing plays a critical role in the third-party risk management by ensuring that an organization's supply chain is ethical, sustainable, and resilient. By prioritizing responsible sourcing, companies can mitigate risks, enhance their reputation, and contribute to positive social and environmental outcomes. The integration of anti-money laundering, anti-bribery, anti-corruption, and insider risk management measures is essential to maintaining high ethical standards and legal compliance. As the landscape of responsible sourcing continues to evolve, Organizations must remain committed to continuous improvement and collaboration with stakeholders. This closing chapter in the book serves as a call to action for companies to embrace responsible sourcing and integrate it into their overall TPRM. With this, I would like to stop today. In the meanwhile, if you have any questions about this topic that we discussed today, responsible sourcing or resilience as a whole, please feel free to write to me and I will be happy to respond. Repeating, I'm speaking at the BCI World Hybrid Conference in October 30th and 31st in London. My topic there is third-party risk management, vendor risk management. At the same time, this book, My Experiments with Third-Party Risk Management, will be launched there globally, will be available for display and purchase at that platform. Hope to see you next Wednesday again. Till that time, take care. Have a great week ahead. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.